If stress is the thing that drives you to smoke, then quitting can feel close to impossible, and not for a vague reason. Every time life turns hard, a deadline, an argument, a bill, a bad day, the cigarette is right there, the one reliable thing that takes the edge off. So, being told to quit can feel like being told to throw away your shield right before the fight. If that is where you are, here is the honest answer to how you do it anyway. And it starts with a fact that is going to sound backwards. People who quit smoking end up less stressed, not more. That is not a pep talk. It is one of the most consistent findings in the research. A large analysis pulling together 26 long-term studies found that after quitting, people's anxiety, depression, and stress all dropped compared with those who kept smoking, while their mood and quality of life climbed. The effect was big enough that the researchers placed it on par with taking an antidepressant. The very thing you are leaning on to manage stress is, on the balance sheet, leaving you more stressed than you would be without it. Here is why that is not a paradox. A large part of what you feel as stress across the day is not your life. It is withdrawal. A couple of hours after your last cigarette, nicotine starts leaving and your nervous system gets agitated, restless, on edge. Then you smoke, the agitation lifts, and your brain logs it as the cigarette rescuing you from stress. But all it cleared was a discomfort it created in the first place. You have been crediting the cigarette with solving a problem it has been quietly manufacturing all day long. And the chemical half of that settles fast, your brain's nicotine pathways return to a non-smoker's baseline within about 3 weeks of stopping. But chemistry is only half of it, and for a stress smoker, it is not even the hard half. The hard half is this. Over years of reaching for a cigarette every time the pressure rose, smoking quietly became your coping system. Stress arrived, you smoked, you felt steadier, and your brain welded the two together until the cigarette was not just a habit, but your single tool for getting through a bad moment. So when you quit by simply stopping, you are not only detoxing, you are tearing out the one thing you used to cope. At the exact moment withdrawal is making everything feel worse. That is the vacuum, and it is the real reason stress-driven quitters relapse. Because sooner or later, a genuinely hard day arrives, they reach for the tool that is no longer there, and the drawer is empty, which points straight at the solution, and it is not more willpower. You cannot quit this by subtraction, by just removing the cigarette and hoping. You have to replace what the cigarette was doing. The smokers who fail are the ones who take the old tool away and put nothing in its place. The ones who succeed build a new way to handle stress first, while the cigarette is still around so that when it goes, there is already something to reach for. Order matters here. You fill the drawer before you empty it. In practice, that means a few specific things. First, stop treating all your stress as one lump. Separate the withdrawal jitter, which is temporary and chemical and fades within a few weeks, from your actual life stress, which is real and is not going anywhere and deserves real tools. Trying to fight both as one shapeless wave is what wears people down. Second, build a stress response that genuinely works on the body, not just a distraction. Slow breathing with a long, extended exhale is not a wellness cliche. It physically downshifts the same nervous system a cigarette break was hijacking, and the point is to practice it while you still smoke, so it is wired in and ready before quit day. Third, attack the reflex at the cue. The stress to cigarette link is a learned groove, so the moment stress hits, you deliberately run the new response instead, over and over, until the groove starts pointing somewhere else. And fourth, go after the belief underneath all of it. The quiet conviction that you cannot get through something hard without a cigarette, because as long as you hold that belief, every stressful moment keeps converting itself into a craving on its own. None of this makes the first couple of weeks easy. Be honest with yourself going in. As a stress smoker, you are quitting on hard mode, losing your coping crutch and clearing nicotine at the same time, and the early days will test you more than they test a casual smoker. But it is a couple of weeks, not forever, and the place it leads is calmer than where you are standing right now. And do not fall for the trap of waiting until life settles down to quit, because that quiet window is never actually coming. The move is not to quit when there is no stress. It is to build the tools so that stress stops being the thing that makes you smoke. That, for a stress smoker, is the best way to stop smoking there is. This is also why, for a stress smoker especially, the approach that works runs on two levels at once. On the surface, cognitive behavioral therapy and rational emotive behavior therapy take apart the belief that the cigarette is your only shield against a hard day, because while that belief stands, every stressor automatically becomes a craving. Underneath it, where the reach for the pack happens before you have even named the feeling, hypnotherapy to quit smoking uses deep relaxation to loosen that automatic stress reflex directly. Hypnotherapy to quit smoking is no magic wand on its own. The evidence for it alone is thin, but layered onto the belief work, it reaches the part of the stress response that words cannot. And this is the exact thing most quitting help forgets. The patches, the gum, the lozenges, the usual stop smoking aids all replace the nicotine while completely ignoring the coping. They feed your receptors a substitute molecule, but they leave the stress and the empty coping drawer exactly as they were. Plenty of structured options miss it too, whether they are sold as stop smoking programs or as clinical smoking cessation programs, and the quit smoking aids handed out at a clinic are built around easing withdrawal, not around the question of what you reach for the next time your day falls apart. None of those smoking cessation aids teach you a new way to handle stress, which, for a stress smoker, is the only thing that was ever going to matter. The program that lines all of that up most cleanly is a 6-day program called Quit Sure. It is a real quit smoking program rather than a streak counter, the kind of cessation program that goes after the coping belief and the stress reflex instead of just the nicotine. And here is the piece that fits the stress smoker best. While you are doing the Quit Sure program, you do not stop on day one. You keep smoking through the first days while you build and rehearse the new way of handling stress, so the replacement is already in place before the cigarette is ever taken away. The drawer is full before you lose the old tool. It was built by Stanford, IIT, and IIM alumni who had been smokers themselves, which is probably why it treats stress as the central problem to solve, rather than a footnote. That focus is rare. Most of what you find searching the stores is the opposite. Rows of smoking cessation apps that track and remind and congratulate, but never once address the thing that actually makes you smoke. You scroll past one stop smoking app after another, a whole shelf of apps to stop smoking that assume the problem is forgetting rather than coping. Many are free, and a free quit smoking app is easy to download and just as easy to abandon on the first bad afternoon, because watching a counter does nothing for a person under real pressure. The only test that matters for a quit smoking app is whether it builds you a new response to stress, and a smoking cessation app that skips, that is handing you a scoreboard, not a way out. That, not the star rating, should decide your best app to quit smoking. And Quit Sure has the receipts. Its results were published through peer review in the JMIR journals, the Journal of Medical Internet Research, which recorded an 80.1% success rate among program completers at the 30-day mark. Hold on to that qualifier because it counts the people who actually finished the 6 days, not everyone who downloaded it. Across more than 3 million downloads, plenty of stressed, skeptical smokers have already put it to the test. So, the honest answer to the question, how do you quit when stress is your biggest trigger? You stop treating the cigarette as your stress relief and start seeing it for what it is, one of your stressors, because the evidence is clear that you come out the other side calmer, not more frazzled. Then you refuse to quit by subtraction. You build a real way to handle a hard day first. You take apart the belief that you need a cigarette to cope, and only then does the trigger lose its grip, because there is finally something else in the drawer when the pressure comes. That, in the end, is the best way to stop smoking as a stress smoker, not bracing against every bad day for the rest of your life, but no longer needing a cigarette to get through one. If you want that built for you across 6 days, Quit Sure is in the app stores, with the link in the description below.